Pretty good, actually. We're off to a pretty good start. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get my copy together for my actual ACT program. It's like I feel like I'm the one that's taken the longest to get my act together.
You're not.
But yeah, I finally had a good breakthrough on it. And I think what actually helped me the most was Gay and Barb actually started it, and they gave me a base platform to work from. They said, all right, we've got a sales letter ready for you. And I'm like, cool, I was really excited. And then I looked at it and I'm like, this is really cool, but it's like the thing that they missed, and I see this a lot with a lot of people, was the key ingredient in any ad campaign. The whole thing has to be wrapped around some sort of a big idea. And I know we've said that, and I don't really think it's resonated with most people what that means and what it's all about. And I gotta tell you, I've been wrestling around. I haven't really dedicated enough time, to be honest, to really sit down and go through and create my own marketing campaign for ACT. I'm so busy, helping everybody else and getting everybody else's programs running and all that stuff. But one of the things I've noticed when I've jumped into it to try and do it, I try and make pieces, and I realized that the reason I was having so much difficulty was because I hadn't nailed down that big idea. And I realized when I saw what they did, it was like, when we do the stuff ourselves, we don't see our own mistakes. So when I saw their work, it immediately popped up, and I said, look, here's the problem. You guys are not gearing this toward a big idea. So we kicked it around, and we actually came up with a big idea to sell ACT. And once we nailed that piece in place, it was crazy how everything just fell into place. It made it so much easier. And I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with, is that big idea. And it's really, what is it when you're trying to come up with what a big idea is, it's impossible to do without your market. It's like, if you don't know your market, you don't understand what they want and the problems that they're experiencing getting that, then you don't have a big idea. If you don't understand those key components, it's almost impossible. You can't just come up with a big idea on your own. And I know this better than anybody because I've been trying to do that for quite some time. And every time I do, it's a great idea. I've been coming up with great ideas that I'm all excited about, and I start making pieces. But when I step back and look, I realize this is not the big idea. And because of that, all of my pieces, when they come in below, they're all discombobulated. And it's like, I'm just not happy with it. So it's, and for you guys, I've tried all kinds of really great ideas on the way along the journey here. But a real true big idea is, like I said, it has to do with what your ideal customer wants and the problems that have been in their way of keeping them from getting it. If you've got something that will help eliminate those barriers and actually help them get what they want, that is your big idea. You've got to nail that down. What is that thing? When you figure that out, your marketing all falls into place, because you know what to write about, you know what to offer, you know what it's worth. And believe me, when you convey that to them, there's nothing that will prevent them from buying it from you. The only thing that gets in the way at that point is any objections, which are merely things they don't understand yet. And that's the job of your marketing campaign, to get them to understand. So if you don't have the big idea nailed down, you're never going to be able to get them to understand it. So that is why it's so important. And you know, it's great that I go through these lessons too, to really feel the pain that you're all feeling over this, and you know, help get you through it. But I'm telling you, the more I do it, the more I see it, and the more it's the only thing that matters, is that you've nailed down that big idea. Because if you don't get that first step, creating the rest of your marketing campaign is going to be impossible, or you're going to create something that just doesn't work, just doesn't convert. So if conversion is important to you, and it should be, because that's really the foundation and the basis of all business, is converting, you know, prospects to customers. You've got to get the money flowing. You know, business is about sales, and if you don't have a big idea and you cannot convey your message around that big idea to your prospect, everything in your business is going to be as hard or harder than it is to try and create a marketing campaign without that big idea. So it's really, really imperative that you get that piece nailed down. And you know, some of the copywriters and stuff that are out of the 50s from ad agencies, they've actually said that. You know, they've made statements in reference to how important that big idea is. The problem is they've never explained what the hell it means. You know, we get hey, it's a big idea. What the hell is that? You know?
Exactly.
So that's what I want to get across, is what that really is. It's a clear, crisp, clean understanding of what your prospect wants and what's keeping them from it, and how your thing eliminates that thing that's getting in their way that delivers them their desired outcome. That should be your big idea, whatever that may be. And for me, you know, I finally realized what that was. And it's the marketing message. The marketing message is actually what comes out of the big idea. And it is the thing that will make sales easy in your business. Because here's how it works. If you have a great marketing message, it does a couple of things for you that without it, your business is probably going to fail. And the first thing it does is it grabs their attention. The next thing it does is it creates demand and desire for what you have. And the last thing it does is it eliminates their objections. Because once somebody knows what you've got and they're interested, the only thing that stands between you and a sale is an objection. So if you don't eliminate those objections, sales is going to be difficult, if not impossible, because nobody is going to buy from you if they have objections. Now, when you go in the next step, I looked up some interesting stats too. There has been more millionaires made in the last decade from the internet than any time in history. And if you look back historically and you look at how many millionaires a year have been made, the last decade is like explosive, and the majority of them are from the internet. They have figured out how to take that message and use the internet to leverage the power of it to get the message out. Because as you guys know, that's the last piece to the puzzle, is once you've got your message and your marketing message is created, that's great. That's, you know, that's awesome. But the final phase is to actually deliver it. And you've got to get it delivered to the right people. Now, where we are currently at this point in time in history, we're at a place no one's ever been before, because it's so easy to get that message out. I mean, think about, you know, 20 years ago, before Facebook and before YouTube and before, you know, you guys were all sending emails and stuff. How difficult was it, if you had a great marketing message, how difficult was it for you to get it out? It was really expensive. It was like cost prohibitive. It took the little guy like us and it just blew us out of the water. We didn't have a chance, you know? So the internet has created this opportunity and it leveled the playing field. It gave all of us the exact same opportunity. And that's what's made all those millionaires. It literally opened the gateway for anyone with a great idea and a great thing that the public needed to put it all together and get it out and distribute it. So again, we've got everything right at our disposal. There's absolutely no reason that if you've got something that people need and you figure out what's the big idea, you create the marketing message for that, you've got the internet to leverage the power of it to deliver that message. So it's like we are holding all the keys to the kingdom. So it's really exciting to know that. You know, so the thing at this point is now to unlock. You know, we've got the key, we know where the lock is, we just got to put it in and turn it. And that's really what the whole process is all about, is giving you guys everything you need to actually do that. Because it's one thing to say, okay, yeah, a great marketing message is what we need, and then we need to deliver it. And there's no reason that any of us shouldn't do that. The only thing that really gets in the way of that is the not knowing what to do and not knowing how to do it. And that's really why this whole program is in place, is to give you guys the access to the knowledge of what to do and how to do it. And you know, the first thing that I tell everybody, the first thing you should do is stop buying shit. You know, because I realize that's what we do when we get stuck and we're frustrated. We think we just need to buy something and it's going to fix the problem.
Buy more stuff.
Buy more shit. And I'm telling you, I got more than you can imagine, and none of it did anything for me. It's all great stuff, but if you don't tie it to a strategy, that is your strategy. Your strategy is to figure out what people want, figure out how to deliver it, then figure out how to get that big idea that ties those two together and create the marketing message, and then deliver it to them.
What was those 3 bullet points for your marketing message? Create attention.
Yeah, first of all, it grabs attention, it creates demand and desire, and it eliminates objections. And you know, we've got the formulas for each of those is in the ACT program. You know, that I came up with a really cool name for the thing that gets rid of the objections, and I call it, I've come up with 2 ideas for it. I'm not sure which one to go with. One is negative and one is positive, and I'm not sure which button to push yet. If I push the negative button, I'll call it the Franklin Objection Crusher, because it literally does. It crushes any objection. And if I want to swing it to the positive and position it positively, I'd call it the Franklin Belief Builder. Because as you guys have learned in the program, every objection is based on a belief. And the formula behind whether we call it the objection crusher or the belief builder, the formula behind it is to build a belief if they don't have the belief already, or to reverse a negative belief that they've got that's creating an objection of why they won't buy from you. And you know, I've got all those beliefs listed out in the training. The biggest belief, the first one right out of the gate, is the belief that they can't do it. They've tried it, they've bought stuff, it hasn't happened yet. So they've got an internal belief that they can't do it for some reason, and they don't know why, but the belief is there. And if they have that belief, that creates an underlying hidden objection that they may not even know about, but that objection will keep them from buying. So you've got to eliminate that. You know, that's one of the biggest beliefs that is just pre-installed, because it's natural. You know, how many people do you see going to seminars? They buy all the stuff, they go home, and next year they come back and they buy all the stuff again, and they're no further ahead than they were the last year. So eventually they get this belief of, hey, this shit just doesn't work for me. Not the stuff, I believe in the stuff because I keep buying it, but it doesn't work for me. And at some point when that belief gets cemented in, they're not going to buy any more stuff, including yours.
Hey, John.
Yes, go ahead.
So I was having a talk with somebody yesterday about ACT, and I'll just say they make cookies. And I said, well, are you going to use ACT to, go through the program with your cookies? And they said, oh, no, I don't have a funnel. ACT won't help me because I don't have a funnel. And I'm thinking, I don't know that that's accurate. I don't think that's true, but I didn't want to argue with the person. So I said, okay. And then I thought, I'm going to ask John because I'm thinking, well, that's not, ACT isn't about a funnel.
It's not. It's about a sales process. It's about any core business. It really isn't at all about a funnel.
I think there might be some misinterpretation about that somehow.
I think you're right.
And it's somebody who's been rather, that should know. So I want to talk about that a little bit. You might want to just address that with people, like how you use it for just single things. It's not a funnel.
Yeah, no, I am totally on board with you. I think you're absolutely right, because I've had that conversation a couple of times over the last few calls as well, because Chris kind of brought that to my attention. He was struggling because he didn't even know it, but he was using ACT not in an electronic funnel, but it was working for him. And I told him, I go, ACT is really about a sales process. It doesn't matter if you have it in an electronic funnel or if you're on a stage or if you're just talking to somebody in a bar. It really doesn't matter. It's a process of taking someone from the state they're in to figuring out what they want, creating that demand and desire, eliminating the objections, and turning that person into a customer. And if you want to call that a funnel, I guess that's a funnel in itself. How you deliver it, that's all the cool shit that you guys can buy after you figure it out. Like ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is a great delivery mechanism. But ClickFunnels is not going to make you a dime if you don't have your big idea, your marketing message, and know how you're going to deliver it. ClickFunnels is just a tool in the middle to help you deliver that message. It doesn't make the message for you, doesn't come up with your big idea, and without those two things, it's worthless. So again, I'm going to go back to my statement. Stop buying shit. Buy stuff when you need it. And when you get into this and you get your message right, you'll know what you need. You'll know when you need it, and buy it then. Buy it when you're ready to plug it in and go make money. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I thought would be what you said, and I just wanted the affirmation that I wasn't, thinking.
No. This is like, this didn't get created just for the web. This has been around for hundreds of years. This methodology has been used in advertising since the beginning. And it's like everybody thinks now, because we're in this internet era and we've got millennials and we've got all this new stuff that we never had before, it didn't change us as people. We're the same. We're the same people walking the earth today as they were walking the earth 100 years ago and 200 years ago. We're the same people. Our internal mechanisms didn't change. We still have emotions, we still have thoughts, we still have desires. None of that changed. The only thing that changed is the delivery mechanisms, the media, what's available to us. It's made things really easy to get our message out. I mean, think about just our communication in general worldwide. We know what's going on in every corner of the globe every minute of the day. That wasn't available just a very short time ago. We have literally gone from the Stone Ages into the stratosphere in a very short time frame, historically speaking. Mm-hmm. But we as people didn't make the change. We don't change that quickly. We don't evolve, in a decade. It's taken hundreds of millions of years for people to evolve into who we are today. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't see it in a generation. You know, with the exception of maybe the millennials, that's been a very accelerated, you know, human behavioral change in the way they think. They really are a different breed. And, you know, so I think, you know, since everything is accelerating, that's probably accelerated that process too. But, you know, I guarantee they still have all the same mechanisms. They have the same feelings, the same desires, the same wants and needs as any human throughout history. You know, we all want a better life. We all want things easier. You know, that's just common. The thing that separates is who's going to actually reach out and do the work to do it. You know, I don't remember the actual phrasing or how it's said. I'm going to look this up because it's going to be part of my funnel. Is, you know, the whole thing about there's those people that will do what others won't so they can have whatever others will never get. And again, I don't remember the exact wording. It's a lot more powerful than that, but that's the idea behind it. And you know, that brings up another really good point that I wanted to bring out, because I talked to Marianne Amen, and she's really a mindset breakthrough person. She's really smart, and she knows how people operate. She knows how people work. And I had asked her, I'd reached out to her, and I said, you know, I have a problem getting people to follow my lead and get them successful. You know, that's my core desire, is to make everybody that goes through the program successful. You know, and I realize I can't do that. I can't make anybody do anything. So I've got to live with that. But I'm trying to figure out, you know, how can I adjust, or how can I do better to help guide you guys to get you to that success you want quicker? And that was my question to her. And I used a couple of examples of people in the program that I've just not been able to budge. And they hem and haw, they complain, they have nothing but excuses every step of the way. And what it comes down to is they will not commit the time to actually do what needs to be done. And Marianne didn't come up with that. I came up with that out of working with her. And it didn't even occur to me till after we'd talked, so I haven't even updated her on the fact of I've come to the conclusion of what my problem is. And I don't think I can fix it. There's people that everybody wants this. Everybody wants the outcome of this program. But there are certain people that are not willing to do what it takes to get what other people will get if they do. And I think that's the bottom line. I've just got to be willing to accept that and help the ones I can. Because just like any other program, a lot of people are going to buy this program expecting they just bought another thing and it's going to do it for them. And there is some work involved. You guys know that. You've seen the program. It's not open it up and it does itself. You've got to do some work. You know, you've got to figure out, you've got to do enough analysis to figure out who is your market. You know, what's the most profitable segment of that market? Because if you don't do that first piece, you're never going to be able to create your avatar. All the other programs, they throw you right into avatar before you even know what the profitable segment is. That's wrong. That is fundamentally wrong. They've put you on the wrong path right out of the gate. They've set you up to fail. You know, I've seen this over and over and over. They say, just come up with an idea and go for it. Just run with it. And that is the most bullshit thought process I've ever encountered. It's like, where in history have you ever seen a successful company that did that and didn't just get lucky? Hasn't happened that I know of. The ones that did, and they did get lucky, they tried to do it again and they failed because they didn't know why it happened, why it worked in the first place. But if you want a predictable plan for wealth in business, it's find a profitable segment of a market, figure out what those people want, make it if you don't have it already, figure out the marketing message, and deliver it. It really is that simple. Now, as simple as that is, I'm not saying it's easy. That research is not easy. Coming up with that marketing message and that big idea is not easy. but it's impossible if you don't know how to do it. And my whole thing is I'm giving you the tools to show you how to do it. So for anybody that wants it, wants to do it, wants to do the work, there's no reason that you should not be 100% successful. So that's, and that was really a powerful conclusion for me to come to. It puts me in a whole different state of who I want to spend my time helping. Because before I realized I was spinning my wheels big time, and I don't like to spin my wheels. I would rather spend high quality time with people that are highly motivated and willing to do the work. And, I'll go to the ends of the earth in that scenario to get somebody where they need to go. But at this point, I've kind of made a decision to stop spinning those wheels on the rest of them. That's just something I got to do to make sure that those that are ready to go are getting where they want to go. So Lilith sent an SEO question about a podcast. I have not seen that one. You want to come out and give us a little scenario?
Okay, so basically, I've listened to this podcast last week.
Okay.
And this lady in the podcast, it's in a credible source from the SEO world in the US.
Okay.
And she said that mobile first index in reality it should be called entity first index. And she's really saying that it's not a different index, it's just Google organizing the information in a different way and just segmenting the information independent on the context, independent on the device, or it depends on the intention of the query. And I would like to know your insights about this one, because the guy that do the podcast and the girl have done some research, and they both seem some credible sources.
Okay. Well, I would say I would definitely be in alignment with those statements. I think that's pretty much right on the money. I don't know that there is a different index for both of them. Google has got the rank brain algorithm, and it's figuring out user intent. It's figuring out what's a good user experience. So it inherently knows the difference between mobile users and desktop users. And this is something I've seen. You can actually see these results live in SEMrush. If you have SEMrush, you can take any website URL and you can plug it into SEMrush, and there's two buttons there. There's one button for desktop and there's one button for mobile. And this will really show you how well you're doing in your mobile, because when you click on the desktop, it will tell you how many keywords you rank for and your current rank for those keywords. And then you click on the mobile button and it will do the same thing. Sites that are not prepared for mobile, or they don't care about their mobile, they don't pay attention to it, I have noticed that they rank for a way lower number of keywords in the mobile search. And the sites that are really proactive and they're responsive and they're paying attention to the mobile and they're making sure that their mobile experience is optimized, they rank for as many or more keywords in mobile as they do on desktop. So I would say those statements are right on the money. There's absolute truth in those statements. And I don't know the honest truth to the question of, is there really two indexes? I don't believe so. I don't think Google wants to work that hard, and I don't really see that being in their best interest. But they can absolutely, I can tell you, they can absolutely tell what the user's device is and what their browser is, what their function of actually viewing the information. And if they are sending information to devices that are getting a bad user experience, it totally makes sense that they would want to serve up different pages to those devices. but I believe it's probably still out of the same database. I don't believe they created a different database for that. That would be kind of ridiculous. I don't think they would want to. That would really convolute their entire structure. So.
And the second question is, this girl also make a statement that say that AMP, hreflang, and disavow basically has been used by Google to train AI, and they recognized 2 weeks ago that they have been using AMP to train their algorithms in order to enhance AI.
Okay.
It's like a refreshing set of information, because most people are saying, okay, mature learning and artificial intelligence, that kind of stuff, mobile first, but this girl also provides some information about entity first, structured data, cross device, and also talk about AI is language agnostic, because if someone search for blue chair, it doesn't matter that anybody in the world in any language search a blue chair, Google will provide the image or will provide the instance, the entity, sorry, of the query.
Sure.
And that's how they train artificial intelligence.
Yes, that is absolutely correct too, because when that's the thing, like when I created the Rainmaker tool, what the Rainmaker tool is really meant to do is to tie your brand to your product. And that goes back to that whole entity first scenario. Because when you tie your brand to a product, then they're going to want to feature that brand in the listing. Just like the blue chair, it doesn't matter what language or whatever that's referenced in, Google has attached that to a picture of a blue chair because they know that's what it is, that's what it belongs to. So if you create entity first, you're really working on your brand. That comes down to the whole brand conversation, which I've been talking about for years. Google needs to know that your brand is important, because Google wants to feature important things. And that, in the short, easy scenario to explain, Google's AI is just trying to figure out what's important so they can deliver a good user experience. And they're using a ton of data to do that. The whole thing about AMP pages, for those of you that don't know, that's accelerated mobile pages. And it's something that Google came out with to create a better experience for mobile users. So, it was thought in the beginning that if you didn't have AMP mobile pages, specifically, that Google was going to drop you out of their index altogether. And I told everybody that's an outright lie. That's not true. No one can prove that's what they're going to do. And it would be foolish for them to do that anyway. So they didn't ever do that. But people that are using AMP pages naturally are giving a better user experience to the users. And the AI is seeing that. So the AI naturally wants to give those pages better rank. So, I can totally see where that is coming through. It's all about the user experience. Everything, I believe every intent with the AI on Google's part is to figure out what is a good user experience so they can enhance their user experience themselves. Because they know if they have the best user experience, they're going to get the most users, they're going to have the most eyeballs, and that's going to drive their revenue through ad sales. So, that's the backbone of their business is ad sales. That's where they made all their money. That's where they continue to make their money. And the most important thing in the world to them is to continue to keep that money coming in. And the only way they're going to do that is by having the best search engine on the planet. And the only way they're going to do that is by delivering the most relevant, valuable results. And the AI is the thing that they came up with. I actually predicted that in 2010 that they would go that way, because every move they made, the whole SEO community just countered it and just continued to throw more garbage at them to rank junk sites. I mean, if you think about it, most of the SEO world is doing, you know, just quick buck stuff. They're not even real businesses. They're doing affiliate programs. They're just doing stuff to make a quick buck, and they don't care about the user experience. If they could send 10 million people to a site to get a sale and they could have ability to do that, they would do it. They would give 999,000 people a bad user experience just to get one sale. That is not in alignment with Google's wishes. That's why Google doesn't like SEO. It's not that they don't want to value companies. It's not that they don't want to. What they want to do is they want to put the best companies with the best information at the top so they can deliver a good user experience. So if you're at this point in the game, you know, people say that's white hat and they say that's not SEO. Well, I'm going to tell you right here and now, that is SEO. It always has been. The whole game of SEO played in the internet marketing community has been nothing but a pain in Google's ass. And that's why they've put up so many barriers, and they hit back, and then we all cry about it. It's like we were trying to destroy their business. They naturally fought back. You know, the only choice they had is to lay down and die and let us take over and have our way with them. They're much too powerful to do that. So their AI, in my opinion, is the most brilliant thing they could have ever done, because it's forcing all of us to create good content now. It's forcing all of us to do what's right for business. And that's another reason why I created the ACT program, to show you guys how to actually do that, how to actually convert, get high conversions with low volumes of traffic. You don't need to drive a gazillion people to your site anymore. What you need is you need to have the right message, the right offer, and take it to the right people. You don't usually need a lot of them. You know, think about how many new customers would you guys need every month to really change your life? Most of you wouldn't need a ton of them. You wouldn't need 1,000 new customers a month to change your life. Some of you might need one. You know, it's not that hard to do when you get the message right and you put it in the hands of the right people. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to, and when you do that, Google recognizes it. They recognize you have high conversion. They recognize people stay on your site. They recognize they consume your content, and they reward you for that. So, you know, I may sound harsh, but it's the true reality. Google is not evil. They have a game plan in mind, and if you want to play the game, you get on board with them and you play with them. You know, you don't stand in front of the dragon and throw rocks. You know, he's just going to light you on fire. He is a fire-breathing dragon, and he's good at it. He will smoke you and nothing flat if you go up against him the wrong way. So, you know, again, I don't mean to sound harsh, but it's the hard, cold, true reality. That's all they're doing. If you understand that, the game will get a lot easier. So anyway, hopefully I've cleared that up. If you have any other questions, just hop out and let me know.
Hey, John.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Russ.
Hey, John, you mentioned that in SEMrush, there's the mobile and the desktop. I'm looking at mine now, and my mobile has no keywords. How do you correct that?
That is a pretty good indicator that they've decided you are not giving a good mobile experience. And really, the way to correct it is just to create a good mobile site. You know, if your site is not responsive, I haven't looked at it, so I don't know. Google actually has a a web page that you can go to, and you can put your URL in to see if they consider it mobile friendly. If you just go to Google and you type in the search box, mobile friendly URL tester, you probably get it right away. Put your domain in, and it will give you like a mobile score. It'll tell you if you're mobile friendly or not. It's like a validator. And if you're not mobile friendly, the chances of them sending their valuable traffic to your mobile users is not very likely, which that's what you just saw.
But there's nothing in the code as far as keywords. It says this is desktop keywords, this is mobile keywords. There's no.
Yeah, no, they don't go by that anyway. The device, it doesn't matter the device. When somebody runs a search on the device, Google knows the device, so they know if they send traffic to your, if they send mobile traffic to your site, and those people all bounce, but then they send desktop traffic to your site and none of them bounce, they know, hey, that site, let's send our desktop users because they get a good user experience, but let's not send any more mobile users because they're not getting a good user experience. Does that make sense?
So I ran the test. It's mobile friendly test, and I put my domain in there. It says page is mobile friendly.
Okay.
So
it's past the validator, but
yeah.
Go on mobile. This is the next step to do, is pull out your mobile device,
Right.
go onto your website, and see how easy it is to work. See if it's as easy to go through your site with a mobile device as it is with a desktop.
Okay.
And you'll probably find the snags. A lot of times the text might be really small. It might be unreadable. It might be not so easy to navigate. You might not have it segmented right. It's the whole overall experience of that mobile site.
I don't understand how SEMrush says there's no mobile keywords though.
Yeah, well, you can test that manually too. SEMrush is not 100% accurate. Like, if they say you rank for 500 keywords, you could rank for 800 keywords. They're not right on pinpoint on the money. They're not 100% accurate. So just because they say you don't have any, that doesn't really mean you don't have any.
Right.
I'm pretty sure if you put your brand name in, you'll probably come up in a mobile search. But if you take some of your regular keywords that come up in a desktop search and just search them on mobile and see if they come up.
Okay.
That'll give you a pretty good indicator. But what I've noticed is if SEMrush says you've got 1,000 keywords in desktop and you've only got 100 in mobile, which I've seen that a lot. I've seen some sites that just have a few mobile keywords where they've got hundreds if not thousands on the desktop. So it's not uncommon.
Okay.
But in that tab, when you go to mobile, it'll show you everything too. It'll show you the stats for not only just the organic search, it'll also show you the stats for paid traffic as well. And that's another thing. If you guys are doing paid traffic and you're sending mobile traffic to pages that are, landing pages that are not a good mobile user experience, you're probably wasting a lot of money. That's one of the things, like with ClickFunnels and all that, they make sure that they give you an ability to manipulate those mobile pages and make sure you're supposed to go through them manually before you publish and make sure that everything is totally dialed in, or they give you the ability to do that. You can make tweaks to the mobile version before you publish and go live.
Well, there's one benefit to the mobile version. There's no competition.
Well, there you go. I mean, historically, SEO has had a lot of loopholes along the way. So just by identifying that loophole, it gives you something that you could really take advantage of.
Yeah.
You could really be ahead of a lot of people if you just take advantage of that little loophole. I don't know how long it'll last, but you might as well ride the wave while the wave is there.
Yep.
Because the wave doesn't last forever. It never does. Everything has its day. Every dog has its day.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Who's up next? Anybody got anything else for us here today? All right. Well, we will go ahead and wrap up early. I'll give you guys one more shot here. Anybody, any last minute questions you want to sneak in before we head out?
One quick question.
Okay, go ahead, Lewis.
Would you upload all the videos to YouTube?
You mean like videos that are on your site, your content?
No, videos like this one.
Oh, would I upload them?
Yeah.
YouTube is really a great platform to distribute information. So I think putting all of your content on YouTube is typically a good thing to do. Yes.
No, sorry, I didn't ask properly. I wanted to know if you have done previously with previous calls. Would you publish them all on YouTube, or you're gonna publish them on the Internet Dominators website?
Well, I have actually, I use YouTube in a channel that's not really publicized. So all of these videos that we're recording right now are actually available to you guys on YouTube if you know how to find them. So I've got them, in the Dominator membership area. I've got the access there, the links to get you over to them for the archive. So I am using YouTube to archive these, because if I was to archive, I do about over 100 of these a year. That would be a massive amount of video for me to store on my own server or on Wistia. It would cost a fortune to do that. And some of these, a lot of the topics that we talk about, especially SEO topics, they come and they go. Like if you look in our archive, my archive goes back to 2008. And a lot of the stuff that we were talking about in years past is no longer relevant. It's, the game has changed and moved. And, I talked about those loopholes and every dog has its day. Well, a lot of those dogs have expired now. So it's I think what I'm going to do, I'll keep publishing them on YouTube and our channel just for the Dominators, and basically store them there. I may at some point make them publicly accessible to everybody and go in and optimize them and get them out there. But really my content traditionally all the way back, I haven't really done a lot of public stuff. The stuff that I do really is just for you guys. It's for the Dominators and the people in the ACT program. I don't get out and just, I don't really operate much outside this space. The people, I do what I do for the people that are in this community. I'm basically here for you guys, not the outside world. That gives you a huge advantage. The fact that I'm here, and every week I'm here for you guys for anything you need. That's because you guys are part of this group, part of this community. I don't do that just for anybody out on YouTube. That's not my goal. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, cool. So, hey, there's Mr. Travis. It looks like he just got out of a heavy workout. Well, let me unmute you. There you go.
All right. My big return. How's it going, John? Oh, man, I just finished a workout a little bit early. Ran in to see if I can catch the last 9 minutes or so.
I see that.
Yeah. A little sweaty joining the call, but good to be here nonetheless.
Yeah, we were actually just getting ready to wrap up early unless anybody had anything else. And this was actually a really good call. I think it would be well worth your time to go back and watch the replay of this one.
I absolutely will.
I think this was really a great call. the content.
Now you're making me feel guilty.
No, you always have access. I record everything, so you never miss out.
Wow, nice view. Great work. I'm glad you incorporated the camera into these things.
Yeah.
John,
Yeah, Cheryl, go ahead.
How soon do you upload these? Because sometimes it'll be even a week or two later and I don't see.
Yeah, I apologize for that. That's one of the things that I still haven't outsourced to someone else yet. And my real intent is to do it immediately after, but sometimes I get distracted, and then sometimes it's like the whole week later I go to upload the next week's and I'm like, oh no, I didn't upload last week. So that's happened a few times. I do apologize for that. If you guys ever see that, just shoot me an email or shoot me a message, text me, or whatever. Just say, hey, where is it? And all it'll do is just remind me to do it if I've forgotten. So I never hold you, I never hold that against you. If it's not up, it's just because I overlooked it. So you guys feel free to help me out and stick me if I need to move.
May I suggest a calendar item, or like a couple hours after the call, a reminder pops up and says, "Did you do this?"
Yeah, I actually have that, and it's still, for some reason, things grab my attention and I get derailed.
Okay, John, so we could just say, go ahead and stop the recording now and upload it.
There you go.
Right now.
Well, that is my intent. That is my general intent for it.
Okay, I'll check with you. I'll check with you in 30 minutes and see if you've uploaded it.
All right. Well, I promise I will do this one immediately because Travis needs to see this one.
They're tough on you right now.
So I'm going to get it up for you.
And John, one more question. Don't you have a live event that you do?
I do. That my intention again, and this is something I've kind of been a little derailed on. I was saying the thing that's really keeping me from doing more live events is the whole fact that I had not really gotten my big idea together yet. Because what's going to fuel the live event is me actually flooding this thing out into the market and getting new people in and getting sales for it, and that's going to drive all the live events. My goal is to do 3 or 4 of them a year. So once I get this train on the track, that's what you guys can expect. And you guys always get to come to any of the live events. The only thing I'm charging the members for, in fact, the live events aren't even open to the public. They're only for you guys. And the only thing I charge for the live events is just to cover the cost of the food and the materials that we give out. So usually I do it for like 99 bucks a piece, and that covers me to, feed you guys for a couple days and put the books together and all that. But that's my goal, really, is 3 or 4 of those a year to do that. And the only thing keeping us from that really is just me not getting my act together. So again, you guys start throwing darts at me. Get me rolling on this. I need to be accountable to you. So.
Okay, we'll put something in the fall on the calendar then.
All right, that sounds like a winner. I just sent all the people that are in the apprentice program. I sent out a message this morning asking when you guys want to do another mastermind group, and so I'm waiting to hear feedback on that, because we have one of the things that I offer at the live event is an apprentice program, which is a higher level where I actually work with you, to create your funnels and all that stuff. And from the last live event, we've got a group of people that are in there, and one of the things I do with them is 3 or 4 private masterminds a year where we all get together and work together to push those things through. So I'm due for another one of those here. So anyway, all right, one more shot here.
I have a question.
Hey, John.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so one thing that I've had an issue with on launch pages or any page where it's been shared a lot of times, it seems as though Facebook, if it's been shared a certain number of times, it will not allow you to modify the default image and potentially the title that has been shared, and it kind of pre-populates that metadata for you. So as I was going back through those 5 or 6 pages that we said, hey, let's optimize those, I figured, okay, I'm just going to slap one of these pages on the bottom of every email and be like, hey, this is perhaps share my stuff of the week thing. You know, if you feel like looking at something and share it, share this. And I looked at that page, and as I was actually setting that stuff, I remembered that. Now, will Facebook eventually repopulate that data or overwrite what was written before, or are we kind of stuck? Because that certainly limits the SEO value of something if every time they share it, it's pulling up, an old image or not an attention gathering image or whatever. It's not optimized.
Yeah. I actually noticed that. I did a class reunion page for one of my nieces a while back, and I used an existing page on my site that I had before, and it had, SEO title tags and stuff in it. So when we put it on Facebook, it came up like that, like what you're saying.
They're a great party, John.
And she's like going, you can't do that. I'm like,
yeah, you can't have an SEO birthday party or reunion, John. It's no fun.
And I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it. So what I did is I actually deleted the page, and then I went to repost it so they couldn't find it. And that actually cleared it. And then I put her page back up, and then it came through.
But this is, I'm actually referring to one of my pages, a page on my site.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I actually deleted it.
You deleted your page.
I deleted my page on my site, and then I went in to link to that page that was no longer there in Facebook. And then it went over looking for the data, and it couldn't find it.
What? And it assumed the page was deleted, and then it got rid of the original stuff too?
And it cleared it out, so when I put the page back and I did it again, it went and found the new data. And
if they, so I assumed that they did that because they didn't want people to change the content of something that had already been posted as potentially something else.
It's possible that might be the case now, but back then I think it was more, this was a couple years ago when I did that. So I don't know that that's going to work still, but I would try it, because all it did, it just made them flush their cache and redo it.
So essentially they would kick back a quick 404. And this, I would need to leave it like this for a long period of time, just for.
Yeah, I did it just for the day.
For a whole day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pulled it down. I waited, several hours. I posted it, and it didn't grab the new data. It just didn't come up with anything.
Huh.
And then I put the page back, and then did it again. And I think I did it the next day, and then it fixed it.
So 2 days of 404 error in a row. That won't really affect SEO. I mean, I've let certain sites go down for like a month and not even know before doing like a server reset, and they bounce back fine. So
yeah. I don't think that'll be a problem. Now, what you could try in lieu of that, you could try just putting the page up on a new address and then doing a 301 redirect to the new.
I tried that. It follows to the end destination of the redirect. So it will literally bypass your, so let's say I redirect, the original page was /A, and I put my new thing on /B, which 301 redirects. Facebook pulls the metadata from that destination redirect page.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, put your good data on the new page.
But they don't get it from the new page. They follow the 301 and still pull the Facebook data from the original page. I tried it.
Okay.
They outsmarted that one.
And again, like I said, I did this a couple of years ago, so that might have been a hole, and they might have plugged it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying this. I think it was a 2014 launch that I was doing, or maybe it was 2015. So. I mean, I don't know.
With mine, it was literally a page I didn't need, so I wasn't worried about about just deleting it and then republishing it a couple days later.
Right. Okay. Well, I would like to keep these pages, but I'll try that. I'll try the multiple day 404. And does it matter if my 404 is already kind of redirect to a different page on my site? That would kind of defeat the purpose. I would need to do like an HT access 404.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if you can do that, that would probably be preferable.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I had one more super quick question about conversions, and you got 10 seconds.
Sure, go for it.
CVV or no CVV on credit card checkout forms?
Oh, well, just for compliance, you're going to have those.
Certain people don't. They say that if a certain company doesn't have a problem with chargebacks, I figured it would result in more declines. Like I know Amex, like Amex Platinum, they're not going to approve an internet transaction with no CVV.
Yeah, for an online thing, I think that might be a little suicidal.
Okay, cool. Good to know, man. Good to know. Perfect.
Because if you're opening your cart up to that, there's bots out there that look for stuff like that. They look for vulnerabilities in e-commerce. That is a clear vulnerability.
Good call. Good call. Got it.
The last thing you want to do is have some bot put you on a list somewhere and then have every hacker known to man hammer in your shopping cart trying to fraudulently put charges through.
And then final question, phone number or not?
I would definitely put phone number.
You would?
Yes.
From a standpoint of credibility?
It's credibility. I mean, how many times have you bought something from somebody and there was no phone number and you really wanted to call them and they're hiding?
Well, I put my phone number on, it's attached to the merchant charge.
Oh, you mean to have them put their phone number in?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, gotcha. I was thinking something else. I was thinking putting your contact number on there. And
right.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
You would?
Absolutely. Because that's a credibility thing. That's a trust issue.
And they're all going to be calling me, though.
You don't have to answer the phone.
All right.
You could have a voicemail.
All right.
On the voicemail, you can just tell them how you deal with that.
Right. Oh, that's a good call.
All you have to do is say, go to this URL, put in a support ticket, and you'll be handled.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. But having it there will address an unspoken objection of, is this a scam?
Got it. Good call.
Real.
Good call. Okay. Yeah. I like it. That's all great info, John. Thanks.
It's absolutely the right thing to do. And as far as whether you collect their phone number or not, the less information that they have to put in, the higher the conversion. So if you have no interest in ever calling them, or there's no need to ever call them or contact them, then I'd leave it out.
Got it. There's only been a need one time, and that was because I got hacked.
Yeah.
But wasn't that big of a deal. It was, a few phone calls. Could have been an email too. It didn't have to be a phone call.
Yeah, as long as you've got their email and you can get email out, then you can communicate.
Yeah, exactly. No, good call. I mean, I have their address too. I could send them a note.
You can really get serious.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Thanks so much, John.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today. Those of you that are on the apprentice program, we'll see you in about a half hour, and I will get this recording up because Travis needs to see it.
All right, rock and roll.
All right, guys, see you next week.